Governor Walker says measures to address mass shootings in Wisconsin may be put into his next state budget.
But they're likely to be pointed at mental health, not gun control. Political reporter Jessica Arp sat down with the governor for a look ahead at the year to come.
State, regardless of how people voted or their beliefs on that, it's just over. It's done.
In a year that was dominated by a historic recall and a presidential election, Governor Scott Walker is looking forward to the state budget and a debate over how to respond to recent mass shootings here and across the country.
What do you see as the next step that should be taken after our experiences in Wisconsin with Oak Creek, with Brookfield? Do you believe there should be some sort of bans or restrictions put on weapons or ammunition?
There's going to be a lot of discussion nationally about gun control. There may actually be some action. In fact, by next year, when the legislative session starts here, there may be issues already preempting anything that can be done at the state level. One of the things we're likely to do after the holidays is bring in some mental health professionals, some people that work at hospitals and clinics around the state, and try and get to the heart of that question even before we talk about the other elements, because whether it's a firearm or some of these people in the past have used explosives or other things like that, what do we do to keep people from getting to the point where they're even willing and capable of committing an act like this?
The governor says he'll consider adjusting state laws on whether the mentally ill can obtain firearms, but he's not ready to jump to arming school staff.
I don't know that that's necessarily the right solution either, nor do I know that that would have protected, because even if the principal had a permit to carry and was trained, he or she might have been at the other end of the school, and none of these are the perfect solution. But we do have to look at all the options out there and figure out a way to go forward and make it safer.
He'll consider some of these measures in the state budget, set to be released in February, which may also include measures to limit UW tuition increases.
As a parent, I can relate to other parents saying, if you get past the initial sticker shock and you say, this is a pretty good price to send my kid to school here, but suddenly now tuition goes up 5–6%, and someone's wages are barely going up 1 or 2, it's kind of hard each year to adjust for that. So part of what we're looking at is trying to figure out, is there a way to minimize those sorts of increases from year to year?
Isn't the philosophy of doing that, though, kind of the opposite of this flexibility, though, that you're talking about at the UW, telling them we want you to freeze tuition?
That is without a doubt. If you had to ask me what's the most common thing I hear from constituents about college in the state is help keep tuition from being affordable from year to year in particular. And so that's a priority for us.
So will the latest budget cause the same upheaval we saw 2 years ago?
I think there are things that Democrats and Republicans can work together on. Now, will there be differences about the nuances of those priorities? Absolutely. And I don't think anybody, I don't think there's anybody who thinks that somehow would never happen. But in terms of big issues that get off of those priorities, in terms of big things that drive protests or anything else like that, that's not going to happen.
In Maple Bluff, Jessica Arp, WISC News 3.
And a reminder, state lawmakers will be sworn in January 7th. The legislative session should begin shortly after.